and welcome to the archives. Today we're taking a look at the data pack, the new data pack, the first one in the Red Sands cycle, I believe, the Daedalus Complex. So I am super excited. At least I think it's the Daedalus Complex. I should probably double check that. Let's go double check that right now before I get too ahead of myself and make a fool of myself, which isn't good for anybody. Yes, Daedalus Complex, the first data pack in the Red Sands cycle. So that's what we're looking at, and we're going to dive right in and take a look at these cards and see what there is to see. So let's get the card up here. Alright, here we go. With the first card, we have Pushing the Envelope, an Anarch card, run event, 3 credits to play, 2 influence, not too high of an influence. Make a run. If you have 2 or fewer cards in your grip, each installed icebreaker has +2 strength until the end of the run. Now that is handy. But pushing the envelope, I guess you could also call it pushing your luck. Because if you're playing against Jinteki and you're not 100% sure what you're up against, making a run with 2 or less cards in your hand could get you killed. But it depends on who you're running against, too. We've got the wonderful flavor text. Hitting them when they're weakest sometimes means acting before you want to. Alice Merchant. Interesting. And we've got it looks like a cyber wall in cyberspace. Or maybe this is like some form of heat detection, like a heat camera. Because you see people climbing over a wall here. There's like a drone flying in the background. It's kind of cool. I like the idea of making a run and being like, all my icebreakers are +2 strength. That could be fun to play with. That could definitely be fun to play with. So let's move on to the next card. Okay, here we have Maw. It is a hardware console. Unique, of course, because you can only have one console per player. 6 credits to install. It's got a wonderful looking. It looks like a little monster with its mouth open to be fed. So it's kind of interesting. 3 influence, so pretty hefty influence. +2 memory unit. The first time each turn you access a card not in archives, and do not steal or trash it. The corp must trash 1 card from HQ at random. That could be fun. Because if they've got like assets out on the board with no ice in front of them, if they're doing like asset spam, you can just make a run on one of them, not trash it for free, and make them trash a card from HQ, which could end up being an agenda. That could be fun. So I kind of like this one. I don't know if I would use it in any of my my decks just yet. I've been playing around with Anarch a little bit lately, so I may have to poke around with this one. But on to the next card. Here we have the Archivist, a resource connection that is unique. You can only have 1 at any one time. 1 credit to install, 4 influence for the Anarchs. So that means this is going to see very little play outside of the Anarch. 1 link strength, and whenever the corp scores an initiative or security agenda, force the corp to trace 1. If unsuccessful, take 1 bad publicity. Flavor text: the Archivist tracks all the clans and their members and official dealings clans have with the various corps. Half law clerk and half historian, he wields a tremendous amount of power, doing a job no one else wants, but none can do without. And I believe this particular face here on this guy is, I think, one of the members of the team that Fantasy Flight Games has. I think. Or maybe it could be someone else. Not sure, but I like it. I like this card, especially since there's a lot of initiative and security agendas that came out recently. This one kind of is kind of nice, giving them bad pub too. That could be good. All right, on to the next card. Here we have Exploit, a criminal run event or an event. 2 credits to play, 2 influence. Good old exploit here. Play only if you made a successful run on R&D, HQ, and archives this turn. Derez up to 3 pieces of ice. Flavor text of number 1, find the weakness. Number 2, exploit the weakness. Number 3, repeat. Now, there's a few events out there that can only be played if you make successful runs on R&D, HQ, and archives. I believe this is the first one that I have seen that you do this for criminals. And to derez up to 3 pieces of ice, that is amazing. I kind of like that. This may have to be going into my Leela deck at some point in the future. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Spot the Prey. Expose 1 non-ice card and then make a run. Event, 2 credits to play, 2 influence. Expose 1 non-ice card, then make a run. This would be super effective going up against Jinteki or anyone running traps in their servers, because you can play this. You can go expose that card. I want to see what that card is that you've got a couple of agenda tokens on. Oh, that's an agenda? All right, I'm going to make a run on that server. Or if it's an ambush, you can be like, okay, I'm going to make a run on a different server. Because it doesn't say you have to do it on the same server. I like it. This would definitely be getting some play in maybe my Leela deck or my Laramie Fisk deck that I have. Flavor text. So yeah, I just reverse engineered a tracer, then built it back up with some new lines of code. Pretty stellar. Loss. I believe Loss is a runner that's coming out in the Red Sand cycle. Very nice. I like this card. I like this card a lot. Okay, on to the next. We're into some Shaper cards now. Bio-modeled network. 1 credit to install, 2 influence, a virtual resource. Trash it to prevent all but 1 net damage. Flavor text. You created a distributed AI replica of yourself and projected it into the network to run for you? Exclamation point, question mark. That's pretty cool. I don't know who this lady is. She may be that Loss that was mentioned earlier. We'll have to find out in future data packs. But I like this one for preventing net damage. I could see this in use with a smoke deck that I have to prevent net damage. Throw that out. Prevent all but 1. As long as you got more than 1 card in hand, yeah, you could do some fun. But it's only net damage. Still, I kind of like that. Shaper shenanigans. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Network Exchange. Another virtual resource. 2 credits to install. 2 influence as well. The install cost of each piece of ice that is not installed in the innermost position is increased by 1. Which means that any corp that is looking to have multiple servers, multiple big ice servers with like several pieces of ice on it, as long as this is installed, that is going to cost them more to install it. Because as I covered in my Runner and Corp Actions episode there a week or 2 ago, the more ice you're putting out, the more it's costing to put it out that far. And this makes it that it costs another credit on top of that. Any other things. We've got flavor text of, to beat cautious sysops, you've got to get creative. Commandeering network systems is like using their own strengths against them. Cabonessa Wu. Interesting. I like this card. I do. This kind of works almost like making ice more expensive to res. So I like that a lot. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Mad Dash. A run event, 0 credits to play, 0 influence, neutral card. Make a run. When this run ends, add Mad Dash to your score area as an agenda, worth 1 agenda point if you stole at least 1 agenda during the run. Otherwise, suffer 1 meat damage. Okay. So, if you know you're going to steal an agenda, if you know there's an agenda out there, and you can play this, make a run, and get an extra point out of it, that could be handy. I kind of like this. I heard somebody has a deck on Netrunner DB that uses this and a couple others to ensure when you make a run, you're getting like 4 agenda points, I think. At least, like 3 to 4. I believe it's called Chaotic Dance. Give it a search, check it out, see if you can find it, because that's pretty cool. I like this card. I may have to use it. Alright, on to the next. We're going into the Hospiroid now. The Corp cards. Agenda, Next Wave 2. 4 credits to advance, 2 agenda points. It's an agenda next. If there is a rezzed piece of next ice, when you score Next Wave 2, you may do 1 brain damage. The newest electronic warfare rollout from Next Design has a sysops drooling Mason Bellamy. Bellamy? Bellamy, yes. I like this card. As somebody who likes the Next Design and Next Ice, I'm interested to see what the next ice is going to be, because I believe the old stuff will be cycling out over the coming months, so they'll have to have new Next Ice. Since this is an agenda, there's going to be new Next Ice. I'm looking forward to seeing what they are. Alright, on to the next. We have Z 2.0. I was wondering when we were going to see a Z 2.0. Ice Sentry Bioroid AP Destroyer, 6 credits to res, 4 strength, 3 influence, so pretty hefty. The runner can spend up to 2 clicks to break up to 2 subroutines on Z 2.0, 3 subroutines of Trash 1 Hardware, and if the runner has spent at least 1 click to break a subroutine during this run, do 2 brain damage. Flavor text of Dismantle, Dissect. Is there really a difference? I have a Bioroid deck that uses Z in it, so I may have to switch out Z 1.0 for Z 2.0, because that looks delicious. All kinds of delicious. Okay, let's go see what the next card is. Here we have Defense Construct. Upgrade for Hospiroid, 3 influence, 2 credits to res. Defense Construct can be advanced. Trash, to add 1 face-down card from Archives to HQ for each advancement token on Defense Construct. Use this ability only during a run on Archives. 0 credits to trash this. So I can see this being handy to get cards out of Archives if you happen to have agendas in there, because Jackson Howard's going to be cycling out soon, and there is a card that replicates Jackson Howard, but it's an event that you have to play on your turn. This can be done on the runner's turn, but it's a card that has to be installed, it's an upgrade, and it has to be advanced for it to make any effect. So it's telegraphing that move that you have the, like, you don't have to res it, but you need advancement tokens on it, which means there's always there's always a point where the runner could run on that and trash it. So you're trading things off here, but I like the idea, and the giant The giant smiley face monster, he's kind of cool. So I may have to play around with this card some, see how it works. All right, on to the next. We're into some Jinteki with synth DNA modification. It looks like a Kamainu that suddenly has tentacles. So that's something. 2 credit res, 2 to trash, 1 influence only. The first time a subroutine on a piece of AP ice is broken, each turn, do 1 net damage. So that's doing net damage the first time you're breaking subroutines on AP ice. That has nothing to do with whether or not they get past it, which is kind of interesting because of the next card, which I've looked at a little bit. So I like this card for what it does, but I like it even more, because we'll go to the next card here, with what it does in combination with Kakugo here. 4 credits to res, 1 strength, ice barrier AP. So it's an AP ice. When the runner passes Kakugo, do 1 net damage, it ends the run. The ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them, Miyamoto Musashi. So, this is an AP barrier that ends the run. The runner comes in, breaks that subroutine. If you have synth DNA modification, and this is the first time they're breaking in a piece of AP ice, that means that they take a net damage. Then they continue on past Kakugo, and when they pass Kakugo, they take another net damage. That is a wonderful combination. We got the lovely image of the, I think it's a blood moon or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I like it. I like it a lot. 3 influence as well for Kakugo, so it's not going to get splashed around too much out of faction, although synth DNA modification may. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Net Analytics, an asset. 0 to res, 3 to trash, 1 influence. Whenever the runner avoids or removes 1 or more tags, you may draw a card. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're playing in a deck, like an NBN deck especially, this can get you some card draw, because NBN is all about them tags. But I can see this doing some work in others. And at 3 credits to trash, it's a pretty hefty trash cost for the runner. Not exorbitant, but it's going to cost them some money to get rid of it, when all it's doing is letting the corp draw a card whenever the runner avoids or removes tags. And if you're not taking tags by avoiding them, then it's not going to be a whole lot of card draw. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Sync BRE. 4 credit res, 6 strength, Ice Sentry Tracer. Trace 4, if successful, give the runner a tag. Trace 2, if successful, the runner accesses 1 fewer cards whenever he or she accesses cards. Now, what does BRE stand for? Have you seen its net presence? I don't know what that means. Bernice Mai. But I'm wondering if successful, the runner accesses 1 fewer cards whenever he or she accesses cards. I wonder if that ends up translating out of a run. Like, is it just within the run? Because it doesn't say that. It says, if successful, the runner accesses 1 fewer cards whenever he or she accesses cards, which means it would take place whenever. 3 influence on this makes it a hefty splash into other decks. Now I'm wondering if the Trace 2 here, if successful, the runner accesses 1 fewer cards whenever he or she accesses cards, is just in that run, or if it's going to be outside of the run. That if this triggers multiple times, that it's going to make the runner access 1 fewer cards than they normally would. This could be what this means. I think maybe it does, because it says whenever he or she accesses cards, which means it's going to be taking place outside of that run. It's an effect that will be ongoing. This would be a good combat card against medium. Um, Especially somebody coming in and being like, I've got 8 power counters on medium. I access 6, 7 cards. 8 cards plus the one I'm doing. Every time this fires, this trace 2, you're making them access one less, and one less, and one less. So it's. I think that's what this is doing. And if it is, I am all for that. Alright, on to the next card. Here we have Jemison Astronautics. Sacrifice, Audacity, Success. Identity Corp for Wayland. 45 minimum card deck, 15 influence. Whenever you forfeit an agenda, place 1 advancement token on a card and 1 additional token for each agenda point that agenda was worth. Now, I have built a deck with Jemison, and I played it once, and I really enjoyed it because it did what it was supposed to. I ended up winning the game that I played, even though my opponent had stolen my government takeover somewhat early into the game. So they had 6 agenda points with that one agenda, and I thought for sure they were going to win. But I managed to have my deck just happened to be stacked the way it was, that they weren't drawing my agendas, and I was. So I was kind of happy for that. So what this means, this is mostly for use with ice that makes you forfeit an agenda, or agendas that you can forfeit on your own for effects, because it will help you boost things up. It's to help Wayland fast advance their bigger agendas. And it worked when I did it. So we'll go to the next card here, because this is the quarantine system. 1 an asset, 1 credit to res, 3 to trash, 4 influence, forfeit an agenda, res up to 3 pieces of ice, lowering the cost of each by 2 credits for each printed agenda point on the forfeited agenda. Now, this helped me win that game I was talking about, because I ended up drawing it and having an agenda in hand. I was able to install it, res it, use that to forfeit an agenda to put more tokens on a card, and then use the next card I'm going to cover to help me advance it even faster. It was pretty good. I like it. But this here lets you forfeit agendas to res ice, but also to get those tokens that the ID provides before. And you have the warning system all going up. Everything's all going to hell for these poor people here. And on to the next card. The Oberth Protocol. It is a unique upgrade. You can only have 1 in access at any one time. 2 credits to res. And as an additional cost to res Oberth Protocol, forfeit an agenda. The first time you advance a card in or protecting this server each turn, place an additional advancement token on it. 2 credits trash, 4 influence. Again, a very hefty. So you're probably not going to see this outside of Wayland. But I had my Oberth Protocol, and the Oberth Protocol is the first time you advance a card. Now, advancing a card means you have to actually spend the credit, the click and the credit to advance it. It doesn't come from placing advancement tokens on a card that can be advanced. That's something different. So yes, when I won the game, I used Quarantine Protocol to throw 2 advancement tokens on a 5 advance agenda. And I advanced it once with Oberth Protocol to then advance it a second time, so it was up to 4, and my last click I advanced it 1 more and scored the winning agenda with it. So it was nice how this and Jemison and Quarantine System works together. I really like that combination. So much so that I made a deck out of it. But Oberth Protocol is really good. I like it. I enjoy it. So yes, I really like Oberth Protocol for what it's done. Yeah, it was really good in the decks that I've done. Didn't get the chance to use it to upgrade and get like 6 or more agenda tokens on my government takeover, which is kind of what I was hoping to be able to do. But that's okay. That's okay. Anyways, on to the next. Here we have Condi Plaza, an upgrade Ritzy, unique. X recurring credits. Use these credits to res ice, protecting this server. X is the number of remote servers. 3 credits to res it, 2 credits to trash. It is a neutral, so no influence for this one. Senate staffers and clerks of the MCA can be seen thronging Condi Plaza during their break times, or during break times. So this is kind of neat. This is something, you get this installed in a remote server in a deck that does a lot of asset spamming, where they have multiple remote servers, and you've got multiple credits to use to res ice that recur every turn. So it's nice. I like it. I really like this a lot. And on to the last card. In our deck, we have Signal Jamming. An upgrade, 0 to res, 2 to trash, no influence. You can trash and have the effect cards cannot be installed until the end of the run. Use this ability only during a run on this server. Now, that can be handy against cards that are using a lot of clone chips and self-modifying codes and whatnot. So if they're going to be, or using the conspiracy breakers, which install from the heap, that can be really cool, because if you have that upgrade hiding in a server that's on an agenda and you've got ice that you know is going to stop the runner because they don't have a breaker installed for it, and they come running in, you're just like, I res this, I trash it. You can't install cards now. So now you're coming in and hitting my ice. Boom, 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 boom. That can be handy to do. And if you really want to do it, you wait for the runner to commit to continuing the run, and then you res the ice that will do damage and end the run to them and make them, face plant into it because they don't have a breaker out for it. Fun little shenanigans like that. So I really like this card as well. I don't have it in the deck yet, but I will. It will be coming. So that's it for the Daedalus Daedalus Complex. I hope you have enjoyed listening to me chatter on about it. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well if you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. And throw a comment in the comment section. What do you think of Daedalus Complex and the super fun cards that are popping up there? As I said, I'm a big fan of Jemison. I like the deck that I have built for it. I'm going to be playing it some more here in the future, and yeah, we'll be taking a look at the other decks coming out when they do, and I'll be doing another episode. I believe my next episode of the archives will be the final part of how to play Netrunner, where I tackle the timing structure of a run. So stay tuned for that, and until next time, my friends, remember, keep running.